Okay, Michael, I'm so glad that you're here.
My
I adore
pleasure.
your work.
Thank you. Thank you.
But let's start off with one of my favorite things about you is your Instagram.
Oh, okay. Good. I like that.
I do. I love your posts. You have such a great sense of humor, like your Steve Harvey, Cat Williams.
Right? I really get confused with Steve Harvey often.
That's probably a really good thing, right?
Yeah.
He's like in America's house every night. In
Yeah.
ours, we're watching Family Feud.
Yeah, and he's taller than me, so I wouldn't mind that either.
I love it. Yeah, so what do people do when they come up? Do they ask for, like, hey, Steve, can I get your autograph?
Well, I mean, I've never been publicly confused with Steve Harvey.
Okay, good. Just online?
Right, but if I do it publicly, I'll just go with it, and
Yeah,
I'll
why
put
not?
Steve in there, and I'm sure he'll forgive me.
Yes, I think he's fine. So when you join social media, for me, I like decompress at night and look at TikToks and videos and
Right.
all those clips that you have on like your stories. Those are my favorite too. I think laughter helps you just unwind.
You know, for me, that's all it is.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to sell anything or
Yeah.
get anything from anyone. It's literally social media for me. It's just where I have fun. And I only have Instagram, so I don't have anything else. And I just like to smile and spread a little positivity and happiness, and that's really all it is for me.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I mean, years ago I was blogging, but I'm like, I'm past that. Now I just want to be entertained.
Right, that's it. Yeah, let's have fun, you know.
Well, especially because you have such a full life too. You have such a plethora of roles that are so fantastic. Let's talk about your latest one, which is
Yes.
family friendly, which is always wonderful. I have a 7-year-old. Isn't it great when you have stuff that all ages can enjoy?
Yes, absolutely. You know, it's great because there's so many things I can't watch with my kids
Yeah.
because it's a little too adult, except for my adult kids. But then every once in a while you say, oh, well, you can see this, and you can, because a lot of times they don't see anything that I do,
I know,
which is
some of your best
fine.
work, but that's
Yeah.
okay. But it's
Right.
fun, you know. I feel like all of us, as we get older, it's like, it's nice to be able to share that with your family.
Yeah, especially as, you know, I've been doing it for 40 years, so they don't really know that side of me. They just
Yeah.
know the dad at home, which is fine. I don't need them to know that side of me. But as they start to get a little bit older, and then they also start to realize when they're out with me and people are saying hello and stuff like that, they're like, where do you know this guy from? Or, you know, so to kind of slowly merge the two lives as they
love
get
that.
older. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about what got you into the business. Like, what was the start? Were you the kid who was acting in plays? Were you the one who liked to entertain the family in the living room?
No, really. I mean, I thought I was going to be a football player. Because when I was in high school, that was my thing, and I did have a few smaller colleges looking at me. This is back in the mid '70s, and I got hurt. I'm from the East Coast, so I got hurt playing lacrosse, and really didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, wow, because I'm not. In all honesty, I'm not a brainiac, so
Me either.
I was like, I don't know what to do.
I gotta figure something else out.
Right, exactly. But at my school, we had morning assemblies. And so every once in a while, students would get up and give announcements.
Yeah.
And so somebody asked me to start doing it, and I just fell in love with it. And based on that, somebody asked me to be in a play. And I got hurt playing sports badly, so there was nothing else for me to do. So eventually I said, all right, I'll try it. And I fell in love with it instantly.
Wow.
Yeah. Rehearsal was so cool because you got to have really cool discussions with
Yeah.
people and try to figure out why somebody's doing this and
Yeah.
how they're doing it and how it affects other people. And all of that stuff just made me fall in love with it.
I love it. Well, you have that natural voice. So it's like, you know, you have a very, is that something that runs in the family, or is that special to you?
No, especially my sisters. They don't have my kind of voice. But no, it is, I don't know where it comes from, because I don't think anyone in my family has a baritone voice like mine.
That's fantastic. I could just listen to you read the phone book.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
But I got started, I always look for those moments. I'm not an actor, but wanting to perform. I used to host our pep rallies and assemblies in high school. There's something that, like, just, it's, what do they say? Exposure is what
Yeah.
really helps you
Yeah.
find your path and your passion, right?
And then when you get that positive feedback, you
Yes.
know, you just go, wow, I like this and people enjoy it. Wow, you know, let's see what I can do with this.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you remember the big role that like introduced you to the world? I mean, of course, I know Soul Food for me is a really special movie.
Right, yeah, yeah.
But for you, what is the moment where you're like, oh, I've made it, or this is absolutely what I'm going to be doing for my career?
I don't know. I think, well, before I even became a professional,
Yeah.
when I was in high school, I ended up, it was only a year in high school that I started acting. And I auditioned for theater schools, and one of the ones I auditioned for was Juilliard in New York, which I had no idea what Juilliard was or
Oh
what
my
it
gosh.
meant or what it represented. So when I got there and you know, we started doing classical theater, Shakespeare. I was like, what is this stuff, you know? But I eventually fell in love with it. And I realized, regardless of whether or not I would become successful or make money at it, I was like, this is what I want to do. And I thought I'd be a theater actor, you know, making pennies on the dollar. And that was fine with me. I never had money in the first place. And it just turned out that I could make money at it. So I've been, you know, I think for me what success is the fact that for 40 years, I've earned a living, raised my family, and live a very comfortable life just from acting. So, and I've never done anything else. So I'm pretty happy about it.
I love it. And when I've talked to other actors who have gone to Yale, Juilliard, of course, the best of the best, it's like when folks have so much success in their field, sometimes they go back to the stage. Have you ever thought, or do you go back to the stage periodically?
I do from time to time, but it's really rare because they want a little bit of time and they don't have any money, which is reasonable. I understand why. But when you have 8 children, like I do, you really need to worry about where the dollars are coming from. So film and TV is just so much more financially rewarding. And I love it. I love the intimacy of film, but also the live theater thing, that's hard to beat, but it's just
Doesn't
not
pay the bills as well.
It doesn't pay the bills. So I've done it like maybe every 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
I would do something, as long as they weren't asking for 6-month commitments. I just can't do that. Yeah, I'd lose too much money. So
I get it. So how old is your youngest?
my youngest is 7, and my oldest is 37. So I have 4 children from my first marriage, which lasted 17 years, and now 4 children from my marriage now, which is at year 17 as when the paper was signed,
Yeah.
but we've been together 23 years now. So, and it's great. Like that, my family life is awesome. I'm very happy.
Clearly, you weren't scared off by your mom's family. I have 1 kid after my mom's 12 kids.
Yeah.
But I also didn't really babysit. She almost like took me away from it, but she was also the baby of 12. Like, they were so spoiled.
Right,
Versus
of
being the
course.
eldest.
Yeah.
Like, your mom probably raised you. Was it your mom a big influence on you wanting a big family?
Yeah. Well, my mom was, the influence she had on me was hard work, you know, and the dedication to family, because I wasn't raised with my father. So you see how hard my mom worked and how well she did in the 60s and 70s. And it just, you know, it really instilled in me this idea of responsibility and how it shouldn't be considered a chore, but a gift, you know. So I really enjoy my children, my wife, my home life, and I'm glad that I can provide enough for us to be comfortable and not have to worry about money, you know.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, yeah.
Gosh, so when you got into Juilliard, what was that like for your mom?
My mom, she was pretty happy. Yeah, because I'm from Boston, but we all flew to New York. And you know, I actually first started staying at the YMCA on 63rd. So my room was a little bit bigger than this, and had a little teeny fridge, and you had to go share the showers and everything else. But It was, I was just about to turn 18 because my birthday's like right at the beginning of school, and it was exciting for all of us. And I had an uncle who's now passed away as well, but he was like, "What are you doing becoming an actor? You'll never make a living. You'll never." Da, da, da. And a few years down the road, he was like, "I'm so proud of you." So yeah. So it's been cool.
Isn't that funny?
It's good life.
What I've learned is their fear. They're trying to protect you
You're
by
right.
being like, no, you can't do that.
Right.
Whether it's the immigrant mentality or poverty mindset, like you cannot take a risk. Get a solid job, work for the
Absolutely.
government, or get.
He was a businessman, so he knew you lawyer, businessman, doctor. That's how you make a living. And you're right, immigrants, because they were born here. My mother and uncles and all of her family, but her parents were born actually in Cape Verde, Cabo Verde, which is off the west coast of Africa. It's like 10 islands inhabiting that are inhabitable, and there's a very small community here in the U.S., but up in Oakland and in Boston, that's where the real hubs are for the Cape Verdean community.
I love that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
My dad is Mexican and Portuguese, so there's a little Portuguese community in Artesia here, and then on the East Coast, I think near Massachusetts. So-
Right. Well, the Portuguese community, they're kind of like the blend of the African and
Yeah.
Portuguese. That's what Cape Verdean really.
nice.
That's the nexus of it all.
So, because I'm like Boston, right?
Right,
That's awesome.
exactly. Yeah,
I love
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Wow. So let's talk about your roles too. You're working on multiple right now.
Yes.
Tulsa King, I saw the tour. It looked amazing.
Right. Yes. Yes.
So tell me where we're at right now.
Well, right now, the first one coming out now is Dead Boy Detectives on Netflix. I think it premieres April 25th. It's more of a youthful, because all the main characters are teenagers.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a whimsical fantasy, but it's filled with drama and fun. It's really fun. I mean, it's a little dark too, but it's about two dead boys who met in death and are now detectives trying to help other dead people accomplish whatever they need to accomplish to go wherever it is that they need to go. And I play a man who used to be a walrus and has spent the last 200 years trying to find a way to return to the sea as a walrus. He does not enjoy being a man. And so he's all over these 200 years, he's found potions and spells and all of this stuff in his attempt to get back. So he's got all these things that the Dead Boy Detectives can use to help them help other people move on to wherever they want to move on to. But he himself, Tragic Mick is his name, he is stuck as a human, and it was really fun trying to figure out how am I going to play a walrus kind of guy, and it was a good time.
And remember Wilford Brimley?
I worked with Wilford Brimley.
Are you
In the
serious?
80s, we did a film. Kevin Bacon, he and I played best friends. Holly Hunter, Mary Steenburgen in Arkansas, actually.
Oh my gosh, so many connections. I have
Right.
to see this movie.
Yeah, it's called End of the Line. It's one of the third or fourth films I ever did in the
love
late
that.
80s. Yeah.
It's a little connection to Wilford because they always did the diabetes commercial and then showed him as a walrus.
It's so funny that you say that because I should have thought about Wilford Brimley because he's absolutely the walrus man. Yes. That's true.
But I also love a dark theme. My 7-year-old loves like Tim Burton and he loves anything,
Right.
the back rooms, like all these dark things. I think it's fun because as kids it's so like scary in a way, but
Right.
at the same time, that inquisitiveness and curiosity, it makes it where you can talk about the things that people don't want, or adults don't usually want to talk about.
Right, exactly. And it's funny because Dead Boy Detectives is like a hosh-posh of it. It's got serious drama. It's very funny. A lot of mystical stuff. The shooting of it is great. Some of the special effects and everything. It's fun. I actually saw every episode already.
nice.
And
What do we think?
I enjoyed it. I really did. I mean, I did it because it's something that I don't usually do. I'm mostly a drama guy.
Yeah.
But something like this, I thought my, teenager kids can watch, and some of them watched them with me, and they enjoyed it a lot.
I love it.
Yeah.
Did you see, I forget, is it 1,000 Years of Longing with, it was Tilda Swinton.
Idris?
Yes, Idris
Right,
Elba.
right.
He plays a
Yeah.
djinn, which he's trying to basically, it's very similar to the Walrus character where he's unhappy where he's at and he wants to be, he's like a genie in a bottle and
Right, right.
somebody has to agree to let him out, but they have these fabulous lives. Why would you agree to let him out?
Right,
It reminds me
right.
of that. But I think it's such a great fantasy story where that feeling of you're stuck in a place and you want to be somewhere else.
Right.
So I think how many of us can relate to that, whether it's a dream unfulfilled or something seeming impossible.
Yeah. It's a fun show. It really is.
Yeah, I love it. It sounds like so many ways that it would spark creativity and just get you thinking about your own life.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about Tulsa King.
Tulsa King. Okay, so Tulsa King, obviously Sylvester Stallone in something that is perfect for him. Plays an ex-capo, an ex-mobster guy who's been in prison for 25 years and now is back, and he is expecting that in New York they're gonna roll out the red carpet and he's gonna become a boss there, and they say, no, you can start a family in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And he's like, what? And so he goes there and he gets these misfits, and he starts this family, and he starts to be successful, and then all hell breaks loose because of it. And I got to tell you, I've had a lot of fun on this show too. I mean, it's kind of smart. I didn't know last year. I guess it was considered a drama, but now they're moving it into the comedy category, and it has both of those things.
Yeah.
So
Well, you think of like The Sopranos too,
Right,
the comparisons that are made, that it's sometimes the darkest things you find humor in it, or that's
Right.
how you're able to deal with it.
And I think it's the best if you go into a drama and you can't enjoy some moments, you can't have some levity, then you might be dramaed out after a little
Yeah.
while. So this show kind of gives you a bit of both of those things. Yeah.
And is there anything else you're working on that you'd like to share?
Yeah,
Or that you can share.
I'm doing. Yeah, there's one I can't share. There's another big Netflix thing I'm not supposed to say
Ooh.
anything about until they all do all the things. But I'm also doing the 3rd season of Mayor of Kingstown.
Oh, fabulous.
With Jeremy Renner, who is back after his
Finally,
major
my
accident.
God.
Yeah,
Back from the brink.
This guy, he told me, because I thought, oh yeah, he broke some bones, but he broke 38 bones. And including like his cheek, and he told me he was technically dead.
Yeah, I mean, he got ran over by something that's supposed to flatten.
Saving his nephew, who also works on the show behind the scenes, and the question was, is he ready to come back? And Hugh Dillon, who plays Ian on the show, a cop who's been friends with him for a long time, because Hugh and Taylor Sheridan, who executive produced and created the show, are longtime friends. And so when he talked to Jeremy, and Jeremy said, yeah, I'm ready to come back. And so they created season 3, and we're almost finished with it, and that starts airing Sunday, June 2nd.
Oh, I can't wait.
And
we love Americans love a comeback story.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that show is show's very dark
Yeah.
and very, violent. But the characters the acting on the show is fantastic, and the writing is fantastic. So I'm just happy to be a part of it. That's all. I just want to be of value, as opposed to just looking for, maybe I can play this or that. To be of value and to be in the things that have quality.
Yeah. That's
I'm
the key to
excited that I can
longevity.
still do that. Yeah, exactly.
But also the variety of content that you create.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that others create it and I get to put my little stamp on it, you know.
Yeah, but it's such a difference when you have like there are so many movies where I'm like, God, if they had a really good actor,
Right, that's
like it's like they'll do these close-ups. I'm like, oh, like imagine if like Meryl Streep was doing this instead of this person. You know?
just mentioned my favorite actress. Oh my God, I love her to death.
Right? It's just so fun to. I mean, I'm not an actor, but just her physicality and
Everything.
Yeah.
She puts everything into it. And I've loved her since Deer Hunter in the
Yeah,
70s.
oh my
So,
gosh.
I mean, not only was she just straight
Yeah.
gorgeous,
Yeah.
but obviously she was incredibly talented. And to this day, she's still straight gorgeous and obviously
Right?
incredibly talented. So that's one person that I haven't worked with that I would love to work with.
what do they say?
Yeah.
Speak it into existence. Maybe that's the next movie.
I mean, maybe that's the great thing about what I
Yeah.
do is that you never know
Absolutely.
what's coming, and it could, I could go home right now and get a phone call, and there's no wood around, but I'll use my
here.
head.
Here we go.
Oh,
We have it just in case. I found it right away. That would be incredible. I'd love to see you both on screen
oh,
together.
so would I. Oh my God, I would do that for free.
I think most people would.
Yeah.
Michael Beach, what a great interview this was. Such a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you, my pleasure.
Thank
I really
you.
enjoyed it, Suzanne.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.